Hey everyone, so I'm starting just a couple minutes early, giving a chance for those who want to join us to come in. So if you want to grab a drink real quick, coffee, tea, anything like that, we'll get started precisely at 7:30. All right, so got everything going here. I just want to make sure I had all my the papers here. I left my gigantic notebook you saw on the last live stream upstairs. I've actually kind of condensed it down some. So I have it all in one spot, and I'm not flipping through a lot of different pages here. A little time consuming, a lot of information. So today we're going to be covering a lot of essential oils and basically what they're good for. So, you know, it's weather change. It's spring technically, but you know, the weather's being crazy. We're up here in Michigan. Feels kind of like winter. No snow, which is a good thing. But, you know, it is kind of chilly. So with the weather change, we got colds. I just actually got over the flu a couple weeks ago. And April is a week away. And allergy season, April, it's coming. So with learning the essential oils in my classes, I actually have to do my own blends for certain things. So my classes have kind of followed along with making blends for different ailments. And well, when I had bronchitis and the flu, I had stuff. And I actually have to say that a blend that I made, it was a decongestant. I called it my flu blend. It was an inhaler and a oil, just a regular oil blend that I put in the humidifier. I think lessened my flu symptoms. So with that, I'm grateful that I started taking these classes when I did. So if you watched the live stream last week, we were going to break everything down into chemical families. As much as I wanted to stay on that route, you're not here for a chemistry lesson. And I don't want to get out the whiteboard and draw everything and show you the breakdown of what the molecule looks like. No, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. You're here to find out how you can use essential oils, what you can use them for, and so forth. So today we're going to talk about just some oils and things that you can do for the cold, flu, allergies, things like that. And a lot of that falls into our monoterpenol chemical family. They are rather decongestants, things of that nature. So, let's pull this here. Now, you may be wondering, well, do you have to smell it all the time? No. However you can get the essential oil into the cells is what you want to do. You can apply it topically, inhaling it, same effect. Whereas if you apply it on the skin, chances are you're going to get it into the skin. It's going to get into the body, whereas when you smell it, it's going to go up, it's going to hit the brain, it's going to trigger what it needs to do. I do not recommend ingesting essential oils. There's things that you can do, like you can make mouthwash, toothpaste, things like that with essential oils. They'll have that antibiotic type thing. It's good for you. You can use clove oil, things like that. But I don't suggest taking it internally. I do know there's some brands of essential oils out there. They create little things to take like peppermint oil, and it's like you can do the same thing by smelling it as you can if you were to eat it. So I do not recommend that. Plus, there's just different effects. We're not going to go into safety today. That'll actually be another video. So, applying topically, inhaling it, the scent, things like that. No, I haven't. So, we're going to get into the big thing with cold and flu season here is congestion. Whether it's with sinus infections or with just a cold in general, you get some congestion. So there's quite a few different essential oils that are good for congestion. They're great decongestants. And you may know some of them, you know, rosemary, peppermint, things like that. They'll open you up. A lot of minty type essential oils have the same smell, and what I found is with the essential oils on this list, the scents of them are, many have a medicinal type scent to it. They also will have that minty herbal type scent, with the exception of, like, there's cardamom on this list. Let me go through the list here. You may know some of these scents, you may not. So our list of decongestants is, first on the list is sweet basil. I don't use that too much. It adds sweet basil is a little different than what you get at like basil for cooking. It is a little sweeter. It is an herbal, you know, it smells like an herb. It's not the same as, you know, your cooking basil. Unless you cook with sweet basil, then you kind of know that smell there. So, and then the next one is cardamom. Cardamom, I love the smell. It's got that spicy, warm scent to it. I add that it is a base. So a lot of times, no, it's a middle note. Sorry. I'll add that so that my top notes, as they evaporate, I have that warm spice to it. And then as that goes away, you'll get the base. And a lot of times I'll use frankincense as my base because I just love that smell. Though it's not on the list for decongestant, I still like to put that in there for its other properties as well. We have cedar and cypress, just like it says. They both, you know, cedar wood, have that piney, woody smell. I want to say it's more earthy. So if you have, I like using the earthy, woodsy scents for men. They don't want to sit there and smell lavender and whatnot. They want a more earthy, I'm not sick, I just like the smell type thing. And then like putting it in the house, I'm not a fan of like spike lavender. That is on the list. It's great as a decongestant, but I don't prefer the smell. So I'll throw in cedar wood in my humidifier and love it, and it circulates throughout the house, and it's not overpowering, anything like that. So that's a good one to use. Next one, eucalyptus. I'm sure everybody knows what eucalyptus smells like. It does have that medicinal type scent to it. It's strong to me. I'll use that in a lot of my decongestant products, like the shower bombs, the bath bombs for colds, eucalyptus and rosemary are the tops. I did have a salt scrub for sinuses. That's got that in there. And it's one of those, you know, it immediately opens you up. I don't use a lot of it because it is overpowering. So if you mix it with anything, it's going to overpower whatever you're mixing into it. It's going to cover all those other scents. So I use that. Let's see, there's some more here. Juniper berry, just like it smells. It's got another woody, fresh aroma. Same with laurel leaf, fresh herbal. It's got a little bit of spice to it. I don't sense it. Granted, my sense of smell isn't like everybody else's. It's diminished a lot. But we have, that is a good one. Laurel leaf is good to add to get the effects. I'll add that in with my cardamom and cedarwood just to get that added, you know, woody scent to it. And it's not just that woody scent there. It's got the fresh coniferous, you know, pine tree type scent going on with that. So the next on the list is Opopanax. And Opopanax is an oddball. I have never heard of it before taking this class. I've heard of a lot of oils before taking the aromatherapy certification. And then I get in there and I'm like, what is Opopanax? Was it like a special blend, something like that? No. It's a base. It's sweet and spicy and warm, and it's all over the place. It's a unique smell. It's one of those, yeah, if you smell eucalyptus, you know it's eucalyptus. If you were given several different essential oils with no lid and you smelled it, and you smelled Opopanax, after working with it for a bit, you would realize, oh, this is the smell. This is it. But it takes some, like I said, it's unique, in my opinion. Some people could tell you and be like, oh, well, it smells like this. No, to me, it's unique. It's something I haven't smelled before, but it's a great smell as well there. So our next two is Ravensara and Rosemary. Both of them, Ravensara is medicinal. It's got that, you smell it and it's like, yeah, that's medicine-like. But it's more than just that. It is strong. It's got that real green, herbaceous scent to it. So with smelling it, you know. And I actually, I was going through all my oils, and it was right before I got the flu, and I was smelling them. And I went down, like I started at the very beginning, and I went down the list of them just to smell them, especially ones I hadn't smelled before, like Opopanax and Ravensara. And it cleared me up. Granted, it was weird. I'm smelling all these different oils, and after a while they all started smelling the same. So I did the whole, I smelled a couple, and then I smelled coffee grounds, and I smell a few more, then smell coffee grounds, because the coffee kind of clears everything out scent wise. And the Ravensara, I remember getting to that, and I thought it was eucalyptus. It was just, it was just one of the, I smelled them like, no, it kind of smells like eucalyptus, but it doesn't. It's different. So if you were to smell the two, it would pick up hints of eucalyptus, but it's not that strong like eucalyptus. It does have the medicinal smell to it. And then rosemary, smells like the rosemary you cook with. I actually grow my own rosemary. Try to. My herb garden suffered. I grew it. I never picked it. I had sage, rosemary, thyme, parsley, peppermint, all that, and then just never picked it. It's like, all right, so we're going to try again this year. Maybe I'll do a video on that, of growing your own herbs. I want to make my own essential oils, but that takes a lot of time there. So, all right, we have like 4 more left here. So we have Siberian fir, and Siberian fir, similar to like cypress and that whole thing. It's got that pine woody scent to it. I use that in a lot of things as well. And then we have spike lavender. Now this isn't your typical lavender like you buy in most places. The spike lavender has that lavender smell to it, but it also has, it's like you're mixing camphor and lavender. That's the only way I can put it. It's really penetrating. If you were to smell spike lavender and lavender, you wouldn't really pick up on similarities, except they both kind of have, the spike lavender has, it's, like I said, mixing camphor and lavender. Different components, things like that. So now when I buy lavender, which I have a lot of, I'll make sure, because it's not the same. And I'm like, ooh. So yeah, we have that. All right, and the last 2 is tea tree and thyme with linalool. So tea tree, I'm sure you all heard of tea tree. A lot of cosmetic, health and beauty have tea tree. It is great for the skin, hair, and antibacterial, anti-everything, in my opinion. Everything I come across has tea tree in it. A lot of it in shampoos and things like that. Tea tree it's a spicy type smell. It's kind of in the line of cardamom and nutmeg, and like sweet marjoram, things like that. And it does have that medicinal smell to it as well. I don't know anybody who has used tea tree oil plain or mixed with something who did not say it smells like it's prescribed. It's got that medicinal type smell to it. And the last one here we have is thyme with linalool. We have 2 different thymes. It's thyme CT linalool or thyme CT thymol. So the one we're talking about has the linalool, and it's a fresh herbal smell. I put it in the lines of like rosemary, things like that. It's good. Like I said, it is a good decongestant. Put that in an inhaler with some eucalyptus, and tell you, it's gonna warm you up there. So that's our decongestants. Now, when mixing your oils, say you've got a cold, you're congested, you're headache, sinus headache, things like that. You don't want to use all the oils that you have. Like, say you had this list, you're like, all right, I'm gonna put a drop of this and this and this and this. You could have 1 or 2 for each thing. You're going to get the same benefit. So if you took your list of decongestants, it's not gonna unclog you any faster than if you had 1 or 2 oils with a few drops of them. It's going, you want to blend for the different kind of ailments that you don't want to overpower it. So, for example, I have an inhaler that I made. I remember years ago growing up, Vicks made those little inhalers. They're in a tube about 3 inches or so, and you screwed the top off, and it was like, I had a hole at the top. You put it in your nose, and you sniffed. I loved it. It cleared me up. Well, so I make little inhalers like that. So for me, if I have, like a sinus headache or congestion, or even I'll put in like nighttime. I'll put in a sedative. So I'll throw in things like, let me see here. I'll look through the oils and see which ones are in both of my categories for decongestant, analgesic, and sedative. And I will use that first. And that one, so that starts off with cedarwood. Cedarwood is both sedative and decongestant. So I'll make sure cedarwood is the main thing in there. Same with the thyme millennial. That's both of them. And then that is also an analgesic. So that'll help with the headache. I don't want to put, I'll do lavender. Even though I don't like the smell of lavender, lavender works wonders on my headaches. Lavender and peppermint. But I don't want to put peppermint in it because it'll keep me awake. So I would do things like that. So I would blend it to where all three of my ailments are covered, but I'm not using 20 different oils, all from every category, and mixing together. You just need it a little bit. One drop has a lot of molecules in it. It's going to do what it is. I do drop by drop blending, which means basically I'll take my first drop, put it in, and then my second oil that I'm going to use, I'll put 1 drop of that, mix it together, see how it smells, and then I'll go through my third one, and then I'll figure it out there. I have my setup for dilution, how much oil to use with how much of the carrier. If it's like an inhaler, usually about 10 to 15 drops within the inhaler. So if I'm using 3 oils, usually I'll do 5 of each. But if it's got like eucalyptus in it, I'll lower the eucalyptus and add more of another. This way I've got my 15 drops, but I'm not just smelling eucalyptus. I've got all of it. It is, like I said, eucalyptus. If anybody works with it knows it's rather strong. So my stronger oils, I'll use a few drops less. And then my not so strong oils, I use a little bit more to get that smell in there. And then it'll go down to the eucalyptus, depending on where it is note-wise. I also kind of blend with the notes so that I have my base. I know what it's going to smell like once the rest kind of evaporates out. Like I said, I use frankincense a lot for a base. I use a lot of like woody scents and things of that nature as my base. That way, if I have anything floral or fruity or citrusy, I have that. That's the first thing you smell, and you have your little notes of stuff, and then the finishing thing is that base, and I don't want it to be overpowering. I don't want a headache for one, but it's one of those. And when I blend to other people, it's just one of those. I try to find out what scents they like. I don't want to give them lavender if they cannot stand the smell of lavender. I don't want to give somebody something with peppermint in it if they're allergic to it. So I always talk with my clients to see kind of what scents they like, if there's any allergies, if they've had any reactions in the past to certain oils or smells, things like that. So we want to help them, not harm them. So with that, I think what I'm going to do here, I want to share my recipes with y'all. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is on our Facebook group, the Enchanted Oaks page, I think I'm going to create it in a group. And if you guys want to join it, you can. And I think we're going to do it'll be a closed group. So it'd be one of those you would ask for an invite to join. And then we can share recipes. I can give you what recipes I've been making that have been working. If you guys come across something or you have questions, hey, look, I'm trying to do this for, I need something for headaches, or, what do you guys suggest for eczema? It's not just me, it's everybody together to be like, oh, well, I use this, or I use that, and things of that nature. So be on the lookout in the next few days for an announcement about that. I want to apologize for not being live yesterday. We had scheduling conflicts. My son had a scout event right after dinner, and there was literally not enough hours in the day yesterday to get to sit down with you guys to go over these. So I do apologize. We try to do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, it depends on the schedule. We do have video queued and ready for Monday, the Metaphysical Corner. I got a tutorial for Wednesday that I'm filming tomorrow. Hopefully you guys will like it. I had fun making it. So we have all that there. So if there aren't any questions, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. For anybody watching it after the fact, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down below in the comment section, and I can answer them best of my ability or get you the information for you to check it out. I'm big on giving you the information to research it rather than just giving the answer, or I'll do both. Say, hey, look, here's your answer, but here's where you can find that info. Anyways, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time. Bye.